This week on the Aviators, we're back with Air Boss Wayne Boggs as the air show at Sun and Fun continues. Weather threatens to ground the antique warbirds on day 2 of the event. Blue Angel number 7, the Navy jet team's narrator, finally gets into Lakeland. And the unexpected happens, threatening to ground the last few days of the air show and making this Sun and Fun one that won't soon be forgotten. Previously on the Aviators.
No, you're going with me.
Concerned about tomorrow is the day. We're looking at 50% chance of rain.
With the weather, the way the weather is supposed to be, and everything the Blues are supposed to do tomorrow, that all could blend into Friday. We were just advised that there's a tornado watch in effect.
I'm gonna jump on the planes, taxi back to the hangar right now to get him inside.
Where are we at now? How far out is the weather? All right, all warbirds, listen up.
Since there is still some time before the storm is projected to hit, Wayne puts the decision to go on out to the warbird performers.
I'm going to give you my opinion. I sincerely think we ought to stand down. All right, T6s, what do you think? Thank you. Red Stars. And T28? All right, then the Trojan flight, I'll get you on the ground here momentarily, but let's everybody...
And with that, the decision is made. With the aerobatic performers already on their way back for cover, the warbirds stand down as well, and the air show at Sun and Fun is on hold for weather.
We have a tremendously large weather system that is actually just probably about 30 to 40 miles north of our position now, moving southeastbound, which means it's moving right for us, and it's moving at 70 miles an hour. It's got hail in it, 70-mile-an-hour winds, and these types of things.
The storm may or may not hit Lakeland Linder Regional Airport. As the air boss, Wayne is the one man who can make the call to put the show on hold, and he now has to live with that decision.
What we have done now is the show is not necessarily canceled. The warbird portion is canceled. We've taken all the performers, put them back in the hangar, and put them on standby. If the system comes through and clears back out or misses us, we will re-coordinate with air traffic control, take the airspace back, and then put on some type of an abbreviated show.
On the south side of the airport, Mike and his pits are back in the performers' hangar.
I guess, out of 22 air shows last year, I think we had 3 that we actually had issues with storms, weather. Not totally washed out, maybe one day of the 2-day or 3-day air show, but all in all, it turns out pretty good. So we're gonna go to work.
As the afternoon progresses, the heavy wind and rain hits as expected. But during a lull in the weather, Blue Angel number 7, the group's narrator, managed to get into Lakeland. And the narrator's briefing Wayne had anticipated is now underway.
And if you touch base with them, just let them know. Obviously, with today being what it was, Friday our priority shifts to the Sun and Fun. It's not media and KI rights. Right. That being said, if we can accommodate them, then we certainly will. But we're going to do what we need to do for the show to make that happen.
As the face of the U.S. Navy, a great deal of the Blue Angels' time and effort is dedicated to media and charity events.
I see. For Make-A-Wish, I think we're doing Wounded Warriors and then the Special Operation Warriors.
With the ever-changing weather conditions, some of these scheduled press rides may not be able to happen.
Lieutenant, just so that you do understand and the rest of the team can understand, whatever you decide is fine. If you decide you want to do media rides during the air show, in other words, we work you out between acts, recover you between acts, there is no problem with that at all.
Perfect. We look forward to Sun and Fun, and after the weather passes tonight, some good sunny weather.
It is. Look forward to it.
Awesome.
With one day of the show canceled, performers and organizers turn their attention to the rest of the week. Mike Wiskas departs Lakeland as he is now set to perform at another show for the weekend. All of Sun and Fun lies in wait, hoping for the weather to improve. But on Thursday, it doesn't.
So you can see that we're taking cover at the air show. It's thunderstorm season and there's a thunderstorm on its way in. The sky's green, there's lightning everywhere. Everybody's tightened up their tie downs and put away their coolers and their tents, and we're gonna go take cover and see what happens. This is incredible.
I just wanted to share with you today that we had probably one of the most amazing things that has ever happened at Sun and Fun as far as I know. We lost a significant number of exhibitors and between 40 and 50 aircraft have been damaged. I don't know the extent of the damage, nor do I know the total dollars involved. The important thing is that there were only minor injuries throughout the site. The numbers that I have at this point was that we had 15 people that either walked to or were transported to our on-site medical hospitality facilities. Of those 15 people, 7 were transported to Lake Linda Regional Medical Center for follow-up treatment. As far as I know, none of those injuries were serious in nature. Now, I do not know the number of exhibitors that were impacted by this storm, nor do I know if it was a tornado, if it was a microburst. We're still waiting to hear that from the National Weather Service. But we do know that it was a tremendously significant event here at Sun and Fun. The cleanup has already begun. We will be going all through the night, as will our police, security, and cleanup crews.
Yes, ma'am. As much as we can, but we plan in the sort of coin of phrase business as usual. There'll be a few glitches in it and stuff like that, but we plan to be up and running and doing everything that we possibly can do. So.
Coming up, can the Blue Angels' arrival lift the spirits of the people at Sun and Fun? As the dawn breaks, things are looking up. Signs of yesterday's storm are still prevalent, but crews have worked around the clock to clear as many of the damaged aircraft and debris as possible. And as Wayne had predicted, things are starting to look like business as usual. With yesterday's storm, the Blues were unable to get into Lakeland, and the schedule crunch that had been previously feared is happening. It'll be a busy morning of arrivals at Lakeland Linder Regional Airport. And among the first to arrive is the Blue Angels ground crew and their C-130 support aircraft, Fat Albert. The Blue C-130 carries some of the 110 enlisted personnel who help keep the Blues flying, as well as spare parts and the communications cart used during the shows. From the time Fat Albert and the Blues ground crew arrives, there's just under an hour before the rest of the team will arrive in their FA-18s. But the Blues aren't the only high-profile military jets set to perform on the last few days of Sun and Fun. The F-22, one of the most advanced fighters in the world and the only operating 5th-generation fighter, is also performing at Sun and Fun. And being the Air Force, there just has to be a backup plan. So not just one, but 2 of the $150 million aircraft touched down at Sun and Fun. With their comm cart unloaded and in position, the Blues ground crew is ready for the team to arrive. Whenever the Blue Angels do anything at an airport, they take control of the airspace, not only from the airport tower, but also from the air boss.
If you're the air boss for the regular show, once the Blues take over, or the Thunderbirds, you turn the airspace over to them. So you are basically, all of your responsibility shifts to those particular individuals. So basically now you're on standby. You're just there to assist if they should need something or something is going on. They own the grounds and they own the airspace.
With both under their control, the Blues finally arrive, and they do so with a bang. To land, the Blues break off from the Delta formation one by one and land in sequence, starting with the team leader, Blue Angel number 1. Once the Blues aircraft are parked, the pilots hand them over to their crew chiefs, the enlisted sailors who maintain and look after the jets.
This is my airplane. The pilot, like we like to joke around and say, this is my jet. The pilot just flies it around.
Watching our maintenance crew work is an unbelievable part of my job.
Lieutenant C.J. Simonson is the pilot of Blue Angel 6.
It's eye-watering what these guys can do in, what would take a normal fleet squadron 2 days, they can get it done in 3 hours. And specifically the relationship that I have with my crew chief. I'm assigned 2 crew chiefs. One will go with me at each show site, and no kidding, they're up at 6 a.m. starting the jet, making sure that everything's good to go for the demonstration. And once they're done touching it, nobody else touches it. So when I shake their hand, when I'm ready to get in my jet, I look at them in the eye and I know that the jet is good to go and I'm going to be safe for the demonstration.
Today, the crew chiefs have to refuel and turn the jets around right away so the Blues can conduct their circle maneuvers at 12 o'clock. But as Lieutenant Simonson describes, on a regular performance day, the Blues ground crew will be up bright and early doing what they call a morning turn.
During the morning turn, I'm going to start up the jet.
AO3 A.J. Varner is the crew chief on Blue Angel 6.
Check the engines to make sure all the parameters are correct, make sure that the fuel flow is right on the jet, ensure that all the lighting systems work in the aircraft, ensuring that all the flight control surfaces move properly, ensure that the fuel is moving through the jet properly, and I ensure that the smoke system is working properly as well.
This procedure is vastly different from what a regular Navy or Marine pilot and their crew chiefs go through. For Marine F-18s, the pilots themselves go through the run-up and walk-around procedures, and they may find themselves sitting on the deck for 30 minutes or more.
Normally we'll do like a flight control check. In the regular Navy, we'll do all these specific checks to make sure everything's good to go. We trust our crew chiefs to do that here in the Blue Angels because we don't have time. Well, we do have time, but it's not very fun for the crowd to sit there and watch a 45-minute startup. We're actually taxiing 4 minutes and 4 seconds after we get the APU online.
With the Blues, the crew chiefs take to the pilot seats and work with their fellow enlisted sailors to go through all the system checks.
First mech on the jet, he helps me with any kind of things I need help with during the morning turn and during the turnaround inspection. We communicate using hand signals because obviously with the sound of the jets, it's very hard to hear anyone. The hand signals we use are very unique to ensure that safety under the aircraft. No people are under there while I'm moving flight controls to ensure that nobody gets injured. The first hand signal that I demonstrate to him is just a simple 3, and that's telling him to start the APU, start the jet up, and then I'll go through a series of a 2 and a 1 to start either engine on the aircraft. After the engines are online, we'll go through hand signals such as opening flaps, half flaps, final checking signals. These signals are for the surfaces to start moving and for the final checkers to look over the jet to make sure there's no hydraulic leaks during the surfaces moving.
Since the Blues flew in from their base in Pensacola, Florida this morning, the morning turn would have been done there. Normally, for a weekend performance, the Blue Angels arrive on a Thursday, practice on a Friday, and perform Saturday and Sunday. But with yesterday's storm, they're having to push all of Thursday's tasks into today, Friday. And as expected, this is causing some headaches for Air Boss Wayne Boggs.
Well, anytime that we have a military jet team, such as the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, or a military parachute team or so forth, we need a TFR. So what the TFR does in the air show arena, it not only protects supposedly spectators, but it protects airplanes from flying in and becoming a hazard to the performers and stuff like that. The TFRs go out way in advance, and people, if you violate a TFR, they will actually suspend your pilot's license. That's how severe this can be. So pilots are very, very sensitive about TFRs. Well, with all the weather, we've had to change all the TFRs, and it's changed on a daily basis. So you as a pilot, you're planning on coming to Sun and Fun, you've called up, you've checked all the TFRs, and they're saying this time, you hop in your airplane. Well, while you're doing all of this, the TFRs got changed. So you've flown all the way from southern Georgia down here, and here you are arriving, and guess what? The airport is closed. You can't come in, so forth and so on. So now you have a very irate individual.
So while the Blues have to rush to get in their necessary practice and calibration maneuvers, private pilots are trying to squeeze into Lakeland whenever the airspace is available. After the break, airshow performers and the Blue Angels finally take to the air. As the crowds start to fill up and the performers start to taxi, another important piece of equipment has made its way to Sun and Fun: Wayne's World War II Willys Jeep. Across the field, the Blue Angels ground crew have the best seats in the house as the air show begins. Looking at the crowds, the blue skies, and the performers tumbling through the air, you'd never know that 24 hours ago, Sun and Fun was a disaster zone. But today's main event is the U.S. Navy Blue Angels.
Cleared for takeoff.
The Blues act is essentially broken down into two groups. The Diamond, Blue Angels 1 through 4, take off together. These 4 aircraft perform as a tight precision unit throughout the show. This includes a diamond formation where the wingtips of one fighter and the canopies of another are only 18 inches apart. Blue Angel number 6, flown by Lieutenant Simonson, and Blue Angel 5 fly as solo aircraft and take off while the other 4 are in formation.
Well, one of my favorite maneuvers is the knife edge, which is the first solo pass that we do. And it's basically we just come at each other and then we're gonna knife edge. And it's gonna look like we're gonna hit each other. What we do is, so that we don't hit each other, is he's gonna have a specific line. Typically it'll be the inboard edge of the runway. I'll take the outboard edge. I'm always gonna line up on that. And I'm also gonna set the altitude delta. In order for us to make it look like we're gonna hit at center point, I need to be actually a little bit above him if I'm outboard of him, if that makes sense. That's all the parallax, smoke and mirrors, yep. So these are all the things that are going through my head as I'm coming down the line. I'm gonna make sure that I've got him in sight, make sure I'm on my line and on my altitude and airspeed, and then do the maneuver to make it look like we're gonna hit.
Unlike the Air Force F-22, an active fighter that simply has no weapons on board, the Blues F-18s are not combat-ready aircraft.
We fly the oldest jets in the Navy, so we get the jets that still have some hours flying left but can no longer land on the aircraft carrier. A jet has a finite number of landings that it can do aboard a carrier just because of the abuse it takes when it does land. We get them all painted up nice and shiny, and they look great in front of the crowd, but they are the oldest ones in the fleet.
Since they're the oldest jets in the fleet, the Blues also modify their aircraft to suit their aerobatic needs.
Instead of the nose gun, we take that thing out because we don't need that. We put a smoke oil can in there basically, which replaces that, so we can put smoke out the back end. We don't have a lot of the wartime things that we have in there. We still have a radar. We still have a lot of our navigational things that we need to fly from show set to show set, but basically the war fighting tactical stuff has been taken out to save weight.
During their performance, which typically lasts about 60 minutes, the Blue Angels execute 30 different aerobatic maneuvers, highlighting military precision and the capabilities of their F-18s. For the grand finale, all 6 jets come together and perform a Delta formation breakout to finish out the show. As the Blues land and taxi back, it's up to the crew chiefs to get the jets ready to go out again the next day. The pilots now turn their attention to the other part of their mission, interacting with the crowd.
My favorite part, hands down, is meeting those young kids at the crowd line Friday and Saturday and Sunday, seeing the look in their eyes, like you're a superhero. And I'm just a normal guy who's got the opportunity to fly with the Blue Angels, which I still can't believe. But meeting those kids, getting them excited about the Navy and the Marine Corps, because they're going to be the next generation that replaces us, and that's very exciting for me.
With the Blues on the ground and the air show over, a rush of aircraft arrive at Lake Landlinder as the airspace is once again open. It's been a trying last few days for Wayne and the airshow's organizers.
If you read in the local Ledger, the paper this morning, they made quote that it seems like miraculously a whole bunch of fairies came in here and performed miracles, and poof, the place was back to normal. But the air show went as normal. We had great crowds, and it's a very, very unfortunate event. But a lot of hard work by an awful lot of people have really pulled it back together.
There's still 2 more days of air show at Sun 'n Fun, but for now, Wayne's immediate attention must turn to the rare night air show. Even at night, there's no rest when you're the air boss. Season 1 and Season 2 of The Aviators are now available on DVD.
Alpha Charlie 429er, clear for takeoff on runway
For more information on today's segments, visit www.theaviators.tv. From our official home at the Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, we'll see you next time on The Aviators.